the process of contacting high schools located around the Appalachian Trail to try to get seniors in high school and recent high school graduates involved, because I know a lot of people in that age group either need community service or could really benefit from an experience like this. Yeah.
Taking notes, right?
And so, Brandy, could you give a little more detail on how you're contacting them, the route that you're taking to do that?
I'm looking for email addresses of guidance counselors especially, and I'm hoping that I've worked on some content to send to them, and like I don't just want them to tell seniors and recent graduates, because even the younger grades in high school could fundraise or support and follow on the trail. But to volunteer, I'm really just focusing on seniors and recent graduates, people that are either at the end of high school and haven't started college or a career yet, are kind of in that in-between stage in their life where they can give some of their time to Beyond Limits.
Very cool, very cool. How many high schools are there?
I haven't found all of them yet. I just started my list of contacts, so there's going to be a lot more than what I have.
Can you give us a guesstimate of how many you've got at this point?
Right now, I think I have like 3. Like I've just started putting my contact list together.
So there'll be more than 3?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
Very cool. And last.
Hi, I'm Monica. So what I'm working on is, it's similar to what Brandy's doing, but I'm going for colleges along the states that the Appalachian Trail runs through. So I've started a contact list. I've started from Georgia and I'm working my way up northward. And what I'm doing is I'm targeting specifically the student activities offices or something related to that, so recreational programs that would get students, college students involved, because it's a great opportunity either for them to get possibly get credit, college credits, or sometimes if they've just graduated from college and they're not really ready to jump into the job market just yet, it's a great way for them to just kind of maybe take a year off, go do something fulfilling. So I've started with that. So I'm starting a contact list with that, and I'm looking up the directors for those student activity programs, so their email addresses and their phone numbers. And then to go along with that, before I really start reaching out to them, I'm going to be generating content. So Dr. J mentioned creating a poster. So using like Microsoft Publisher and creating a poster and creating content to give them, so that way when I actually do talk to them, I can say, here, this is what we're doing, this is what you can look at, this is the information that you need. And so that way they kind of have the information that they need, so that way they can make a decision, so they know exactly what it's about.
Have you talked with
Have you thought about sororities and fraternities?
I'm sorry?
Have you thought about sororities and fraternities?
I have
Especially
not.
in the South, they're huge, and they all have to have service hours.
And that's a good point. That's a good point to contact. I don't know, would that go along with the student activities? Because I mean, it's pretty broad anyway. So
It would be a
fine.
part of, if you go to websites, it would be part of under the aegis of student life, and we
Right.
call it different
Yep.
things.
Yep.
One of the things that, I know that at Umpeen we're a very small school, but the student activity people, student life people, are always looking for content. They're always looking for things to fill the, that reservoir of, that they need things for the students to do. And so when Monica came up with this, and I said, I think it would be perfect. And she's going to go and talk to our student activities person and see if she must be a part of an association, and so she could refer Monica to different people. But I know from my years of teaching here, the people who live in the residence halls and the counselors and the RAs have to come up with so many programs a semester, and so thought that something like this could be would fill a niche, and like you said, they have volunteer hours that they need to do. It can serve, it can help a lot of people. One of the things that we'll talk to you about this afternoon, Sean, with our folks who are recruiting people, it's nice if people are altruistic, but it also doesn't hurt if it's something that benefits them as well, so it wasn't.
Right.
And
I do think reaching out to groups, student to student, would be really effective. So reaching out to student affairs and the student life people, that's going to be a staff person, maybe a faculty member. But the student-to-student connection, at least in my experience, has been pretty powerful. Where you, Monica, are a student at University of Maine in Presque Isle, and you are contacting student at Clemson University. They seem to respond to that really well.
It's a matter of connecting, and so I think the people in these different roles are the conduits to help us connect with the right students.
Got it.
And that's not always easy to tell from a website. The website can be very out of date, and so I agree with students to student, and it's good to, as I say, make the correct connection.
Right.
We're missing one of our flock, and he's doing older people. Is that
Yep, retired, I think.
Yes, and so Garrett, so I hadn't gotten an email from him before I came into class, so I don't know, I hope he's okay. But he decided he would do, recruit, he started talking about he was gonna recruit elderly people, and then I asked him what he meant by that, and he said, oh, 55, and I said, be careful with that, people are gonna kill you if you say that, so he bumped it up, and, he's actually supposed to be interviewing one of, I told you guys about the lady I had last semester who's 85, and so he's going and interviewing her, and so 85 definitely qualifies as elderly, but there's a lot of people 55 who don't really think of themselves as elderly, and he was kind of lumping everybody in together, 55 and it's like, wow, yeah. So he's doing that, and he wanted to do some articles on where he thinks expecting to put those, I'm not sure. So that's what the guys are doing.
Well, the retired community is pretty substantial. I mean, so if we're thinking of people who are, say, over 60, around here, for example, it's a huge population, and they're very active, here, at least. And so that seems like that would be a great group of people to contact. And a lot of them have lots of disposable income, too.
Garrett's talking to, it's called SAGE, which stands for Seniors Achieving Greater Education. One of the things, and I've had all of these guys in previous classes, and so I had Kelly in an upper level class a couple years ago as well, and then Brandy is one of my work studies, and so all of these guys have heard about you, and they've been a part, many of them have been a part tangibly of Beyond Limits, and so we keep doing different things. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And so, Sean, when you and I have talked, we've talked about what are the important things for us, what are the essentials to be able to do this? And is it people, is it money, is it both? And so, money would be great, but without people, we don't do it at all. And so, I don't know, guys, you know that Sean is a professor at Clemson. I always refer to you, to the students, as the Energizer Bunny, Lots of energy, lots of ideas, lots of connections. He's going to be talking next month to a group of angel investors. So they're venture capitalists, but they support nonprofits, good causes kind of thing. So what are some other things that Sean might be able to do to help us?
Have you liked our Facebook page yet?
I actually closed my Facebook account about a year ago.
Well, now's the time to open it back up.
Josh!
It's okay.
I have a secret account that I use for, like when you need to log in or something.
So you're a lurker.
And
you're like me.
Yes.
You're a lurker. Okay.
So I could like it from there, but it's not going to get us any juice.
Okay.
Because I don't have any friends. Well, I have one friend who's my wife. So other than that,
That's very
but I can like it.
I think about to 10 friends. I had to do this because that's how they connected for the Todd and Climb, so we had a Facebook group, and so.
Well, and it was a difficult decision, you know, because there's a large social network, and it's great to have that. But my LinkedIn profile, I'm very active on LinkedIn, and that's a different universe than Facebook. So maybe there's a way to do LinkedIn as well.
So
I don't know.
the very first question, and you're flaming out in the very first question. It's like, you know, I can't like it because. So we did not talk yesterday, Sean. We're going to talk next week.
Right.
And so some of the things that Sean has mentioned doing, he's going to be talking to the angel investors. One of the things that would be a great help that these guys are all pushing for is if we could get a contingent from Clemson to do those first 2 weeks on the trail.
Okay.
And that's something that ties in really nice with what Monica's talking about. People who are in college or just out of college and kind of looking for this transforming experience. So that would be a great connection and really help you.
Well, and again, if we engage sororities and fraternities, and I don't know if you guys have them at your school, but that's a network, whether we agree with what they do or not, that's a network that's very powerful. And so up and down the eastern seaboard, in North Carolina, Virginia, up into Maryland, all the southern states, the sororities especially are very strong. And so if we get a contingent of sorority people from Clemson, they're going to talk to the Kappa Gammas in Maine, in Maryland, in Virginia. And so that's a good network. And so what I'm hearing from you then, Jackie, is that you'd like to have some commitment from some alternative spring break type of a group at Clemson, starting March 20th.
Yeah, and that probably just blurs into what people will be talking about after lunch, but as we've talked, and I've told the kids, Saint and I are gonna do this no matter. But the thing that would be nice would be to know that we won't be sitting on the trail with our thumbs out. I don't know if Saint has a thumb actually. For the first 2 weeks, if we don't have everybody in place for the whole trip, I'm not concerned. I know that we'll pick people up as we go along and the word will get out. But it would be nice to know that there were people at the start, that we wouldn't be sitting there for several days trying to get people together. Have that in place would be great. And again, I think that ties in well with Monica's. You guys, what are some things that Sean? One of the things that is great about Sean, one of the many things, is that he's got a lot of connections. I have no connections. He's got lots of connections. You got your Rolex, Rolodex. I'm sorry, not your Rolex. Your Rolodex. But maybe you have a Rolex as well, but it's a Rolodex with hundreds of names in it, and I'm sure that you've gotten my little email things through the week. I didn't know that you were going to ABC.
Actually, I'm not.
So you're on Joel's list, and you're not going to be there?
No, I'm not going to be there. I have not received my funding yet from Clemson for travel.
Okay.
And it's been a very expensive year.
Yeah.
You know, for those of you who were around in the spring, you knew I have some sort of weird eye infection. And so it's been a very expensive year. So I'm staying pretty close to home.
I was surprised that you were going to go. And then I saw your name, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so, yeah. So are these the new glasses?
This lens is new.
Okay.
This lens is old. I was seeing triple. So I see double out of my right eye, out of my bad eye, and then I see this eye, and they don't work together. And so this is a new magic lens, trying to fix that.
Is it helping?
It's not really. I was also fit yesterday for a different type of contact lens. Normally I wear contact. And so in theory, that's going to help. But that'll be experiment number 3. And if experiment number 3 fails, then I have to get to transplant.
So, other things that Sean, because So I'm gonna ask Josh to come and hang out with Carrie, but something that you think Sean could be helpful for.
For me.
Yep.
I guess just get the word out. Once we have more content up and share, the more people we can get to give us a hand would be great. I mean, if you're not on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you can go subscribe to the YouTube page.
We need 100 people to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Right. We don't have any tweets up right now, but we have a Twitter account. But if you go to the website, you can find all those social media links and just become part of that.
Okay. And I think that is one of the things that I'm hoping Carrie will help us with, because that is what she does. I mean, she runs social media marketing campaigns, and she makes a good living doing it. And so I'm guessing that she's going to have lots of good advice for us. Whether or not we take it all, who knows, but she's going to have lots of good ideas. And interestingly, I don't know if you saw this, Jackie, but she donated,
Yes.
and a couple other people donated that she's recruited.
Yeah.
So she's putting her money where her mouth is.
Because I found out about the donation. One of my students in my afternoon class, Melissa, had done a screenshot of the GoFundMe page showing Josh, and I saw these two people who had donated, and one of them was my cousin. And I said to Josh, "Do you know who this person Carrie Unsworth is?" And he's like, "No, I don't." And then I got an email from her later in the day, and so I was like, "Okay, now I know." So that was really cool. Okay. What's something that Sean can do to help you guys? Don't say nothing. He's crying out. 'Cause you're
Send
not-
the positive energy.
Yeah, you're not going to ABCs. You're going to have all that time on your hands that you won't know what to do with. And so that's something that you can help them.
Is there anything that you could warn us against doing that might not be a good idea to do or to stay away from?
Should we be doing this at all?
Yeah.
There goes the clap.
Absolutely. Of course. One thing that I would encourage you guys to think about is metrics. And so this is part of marketing communication. How do we know if we've succeeded? If we have 100 likes on Facebook, so what? That's cool. But then how does that turn into action? How does that turn into getting people to sign up to help or getting people to donate? And so think about, what are the metrics of success beyond just likes, so that it's actually production of product, progress versus action? Because a lot of stuff that happens in social media marketing, or marketing in general, is just action. And so think about what success looks like. And so Brittany, if you're talking about high schools, what does that look like? I mean, what does that success look like there? I mean, is it just talking to people? Is it getting people out? Because once you have that metric of success, I think that will help focus activity, because if you have 1,000 contacts and maybe only 15 of those are active, let's nurture the 15, not worry about the other 985. Let's focus on the 15. And so I think that's one thing to think about as well. In terms of what not to do, don't make grammar mistakes when you write. Seriously, it damages credibility a lot. I think don't try to how do I say this? Be authentic. Let's put it in the positive. Be authentic. In other words, don't try to sound like you're Adobe or marketing from Coca-Cola or something. Be who you are. I think that's an important thing, because people can see through that. And Josh, you did a really great job with that on the video that's in GoFundMe. I mean, it feels very authentic. And I think that this project in particular needs to maintain that authenticity more than other projects do. So beyond that, I don't know. And you, Aaron, are talking to chronically ill people, disabled people. I'm sure that there are triggers, or what we're now calling microaggressions, or things that we don't know about in that community. And it might be good to talk to some trusted people in my community and say, you know, if I'm talking to these groups of people, like say you go to a nursing home or whatever, and you're talking to these people, are there a couple of things that I really shouldn't say, like calling them elderly and disabled? I don't know. So that might be something to think about as well. Other questions?
Because we were talking about reaching out to the student activities offices and things like that, sororities, fraternities, and colleges. And obviously, we're like Dr. J was saying, we're going to be kind of targeting the directors of those programs and things, and then they can get the word out. But as far as content goes, what are good ways to get the students' attention? You know, obviously it's going to be word of mouth, but as far as content, something that they can physically see, because we're thinking of, you know, a poster or something like that. But do you recommend something? Have you noticed anything that you've seen that's really worked, that's really caught students' attentions to join things and become part of stuff?
The poster would be kind of like announcing that it's coming.
Right.
There's going to be
Right.
something.
I worked with a startup, and one of the things that we did is that we created not a poster exactly, but a small image that we attached to tweets. Because what you can do is you can either attach a video or attach a photo, or you can attach a link. And we created a little competition that caused that image to get circulated. And that image was, we'll call it a poster, an information type of a flyer that had more data on it than we could put in a tweet or in a Facebook post that somebody would read. And so if part of that poster had information about how to continue the chain, how to continue it going forward. And that proved to be pretty successful. Short is with folks who are your age, so younger than 40. I have no idea how old you guys are, but probably younger than 40. Shorter, probably younger than that. Shorter is better, right? I mean, think about the volume of email that you get. Maybe you guys don't get email. I don't know. Maybe only you text, right? And so think in terms of short, because if you write a long descriptive narrative that's trying to recruit people, they're going to read like the first 3 lines. And so in that first 3 lines, think about, you know, what is it? Why do I care? What's in it for me? And what do you want from me?
I think it's got to be framed though, because I don't know how likely people are to read something that's just a cold call. And so when we talked about student to student, but I'm thinking if Monica could arrange to do a Google Hangout into the sorority group, or this group or that group, because if you get, so you guys all get texts. I don't have text on my phone because I can't text. And so, do you look at who the texts are from? I mean, I guess, how likely are you to read it if it's not somebody that you know?
No, I usually just delete it because it's
So
somebody I don't know. Yeah.
I think it needs to be, I think if people are introduced to it through some kind of a meeting, a program, whatever, and then you get the text or the
Right,
follow-up
exactly.
about, you know, this is, you know, thanks for being a part of, whatever, I don't know what people put in text. But I don't think that just sending out texts without any.
No. And I apologize if that, I didn't mean to imply that. What I was mostly just saying was I was connecting the length of the message to text thinking.
Yeah.
That is to say, we think in 140 characters, 3 lines, 2 lines, that can display on a phone, you know, because most of you probably read your email on the phone, right?
Yep.
And so if you read your email on the phone, you're not going to read big long scrolling thing.
Right.
And I'm not talking about sending text to people. You know, I'm talking about, you know, actual honest to God phone calls
Yeah.
or emails. But in the emails, making them short and
Yeah,
focused.
because
So,
they're reading on a device.
am I answering your question, Monica? I think that.
Yeah, I think it was just something, because I was thinking, like, you know, we were talking about posters and stuff, something that just initially catches their attention, because then you can kind of move into the social media part of it, you know, to get them to link into it, because they have to have a reason to go to it in the first place. Because, I mean, our Facebook feeds and Twitter, like, there's tons of stuff on it from people, and how often do we just kind of like scroll through and just ignore it? So there has to be something that they almost have to be specifically looking for it in order to kind of
I
find
had
it.
a graduate student who did a study on email subject lines. This was a year or two ago. And let me dig up her thesis, because there were some pretty interesting findings there about email subject lines and what actually gets people's attention. And you can probably find some stuff online about that, because there are ways to do it. But I'll dig up that thesis and send it to Jackie, and she can forward it on.
Sure, thank you.
And that's another thing that I thought, if we come in through contacting the people in student affairs, student activities, and initial contact, because they're going to be more likely to read something, you know, and especially if it's content for your next program or something like that. Because again, I know here people are always looking for that kind of thing, and if it comes from a .edu email, they're going to be more likely to look at it.
Guys, I have about 3 or 4 more minutes before I have a 12 o'clock call.
Okay.
Anything else I can answer for you? And I'm sure I'll see some of you this afternoon. Who am I going to see this afternoon?
Only Kelly, who you can't see now anyway. So.
Everybody.
And you'll
You can continue the conversation.
yes, and so, but they have a different area to talk to you about, so, okay?
Great. Very good.
All right.
We'll see you guys in a couple hours then.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.